Go Blue, everyone. Michigan lands its first portal pickup, and we have him here tonight. Also, major news about those who stay, including Andrew Marsh, Bryce Underwood, and more. Of course, Whittingham's staff being finalized. And here we go. Michigan Wolverines live, episode 233, presented by FanDuel. That's right, folks. My name is John D'Adamo, and I'm going to take you through the next hour and a half or so. Check us out on YouTube right now. Check us out on Twitch, X, but also we sound good on radio. So check us out on Apple, on Spotify, on Amazon, and on iHeart, and leave a rating or review as we go. Hit that like button, subscribe, share with a friend, let people know that we're live, and finally, send us a super chat. Let us know what's going on. If you have a question.
Hey, buddy, your mic's out again. Your mic's out. But John will be back shortly. But, boys, do we have a hell of a show here? A lot to talk about. A lot of stuff going on. Very excited about, obviously, the breaking news. Jake Canera also reconfirms the mission. We're going to hit on all this tonight. We also have a special guest we're very excited about. So, looking forward to it, John.
Absolutely. Am I good? All right. So as we know, we are being presented by FanDuel. So very excited about that. Currently Miami being favored by 3.5 for the college football playoff. Indiana also favored by 3.5. So if you would like to kind of place your bets, we have an opportunity to do that here on
microphone, brother. We were having mic issues, but to John's point, me and John are extremely excited to announce FanDuel as an official partner of Michigan at the voice of college football. They're going to be rocking with us for over a year. And it is not, it is not just a sign-up sponsorship. This is a legitimate FanDuel sponsorship, which we are very excited about. This is big news for the channel, big news for the network. Looking forward to riding and rocking with FanDuel the rest of the year. Oh, how we doing over there, buddy? All right. So in the meantime, boys, we got a lot to talk about. We are excited. Currently, and we will get into it more, to give people an update who haven't been able to follow everything today, is Andrew Marsh is back. We will get into this more. We'll dive deeper. Jake Renera is back. We will get into that more and dive deeper. As you guys know, Bryce Underwood, Blake Frazier, and who's the other tackle? Why am I forgetting right now? Obviously not Sprag, which we'll get into that as well. Chat will let me know. Why am I the opposite of Frazier? Who's our left tackle was? Chat knows. Let me know, chat. Was it Link? It wasn't Evan? Well, Evan Link wasn't the one we brought back, was it?
Link.
My bad if I'm forgetting right now. Because was it Evan Link along with Frazier yesterday? I thought it was Blake Frazier and it was Babalola, wasn't it?
So Babalola's coming back.
Yeah.
Frazier's
it wasn't
coming back.
It wasn't Link. Yeah, it was Babalola that got announced yesterday. That's what I was getting at. Yeah, Babalola. Because I was like, Evan Link, I was like, that wasn't big enough. I'm sorry. I wasn't, respect to Evan Link, bro. But yeah, Babalola, Frazier, right. So I guess, John, take it from here.
Yeah.
We'll get into, boys, we got a lot to talk. I'm gonna let you guys know this right now. There's so much to talk about, a lot of interesting things, and I'm excited for it. But John, you take it away.
Yeah, so Detective Loki, who do we want to win the Natty? I want IU.
I'm Team Indiana, boys. I am Team Indiana just because I think historically it'd be epic. I think it's good for college football. I'm a big fan of Kurt Signetti. I think as college football fans, we want Indiana to win. It also just changes so much.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely like Indiana. I think they've, after what they did against Alabama, what they've done against legit opponents, Ohio State, that was enjoyable. So I think they're in a really good position now.
What did you enjoy that game, John?
It was a pretty enjoyable.
I had a good time.
And Dr. Fakin, what if we played Iowa, Illinois, Penn State, Ducks, and Indy? This year?
We do next year. I mean, we play Oregon. We do play Penn State. We do play Indy. We play Iowa. I think we play Illinois. I mean, we play them all next year, plus Ohio State. So you'll find out that. What if we do? Well, you're going to find out next season. Oh, this year? He says this year. Shit.
Yeah. 7
we lose probably to Oregon. Indiana would probably make us and probably would embarrass us. Penn State, I think we could catch because they were very inconsistent this year. Illinois, I think it'd be similar to the game we had against what was the one? We played Illinois. Didn't we play Illinois this year, or did we not, John? Am I blurring this together now?
Which one? Sorry.
Did we play Illinois this year? We didn't play Illinois, did we? Who did we play?
I don't know.
I'm gonna find out right now. I got us. So this season,
no, we didn't play Illinois or Indiana.
No, we didn't. No, I know we didn't play Indiana.
Yeah.
I think the Illinois game would be similar to the Washington game. I mean, I'm sorry, the USC game. In terms of result, I think Indiana or Illinois would have beat us.
Well, there we go from Dr. Fakin. So starting out, and we have a lot.
Mic went out, man. Your mic's out, brother. It's all right. Tell me the topic. I got us. Just let me know where we're going. Oh, I know what we got. Very special guest joining us tonight. Our very first commit that is not our own. We got Nico Crawford coming on, guys.
Yeah.
Let's go, Nico.
What's going on, guys? I appreciate you having me.
Welcome in, Nico.
Absolutely appreciate it.
Yeah. So, you are the first addition to the Kyle Whittingham era that is outside of our own program, which I think is pretty cool. A lot of the fan base we're all in an unknown in terms of, what this coaching staff's like for. I mean, listen, we know in terms of the Utah, past seasons, of course, but I'm talking, what is the approach going to be at Michigan? Because this is obviously a different university with more resources, more brand. We're still learning like what each coach likes. And so I would assume Kerry Combs was involved in this process, or was it who? I guess let's talk about the beginning of this process, Nico, if you don't mind, like before you even jumped in the portal, because I think a lot of people are really interested. Like the 2026 portal has been a bit of bit chaotic. It's a wild west right now. So
Right.
what was that like in terms of making the decision to jump in? I know we kind of talked about it a little bit earlier about you and your teammates. And then, what is it like to, go through the process and then end up at a school like Michigan?
Yeah, for sure. I can definitely go through the whole process of everything. So, like the conversation I had with my head coach at Pittsburgh, Coach Narduzzi, I mean, love and respect the man to death. I mean, guy who brought so much to that program for the past 10 years. And I had to sit down with my parents. I mean, we really had a sit down conversation. I was like, hey, like, my master's isn't here. I'm looking when football is over. And I was like, I don't know when I'm gonna go in. I know I had a great year. I mean, long snappers. I mean, your name's never heard of unless you screw up,
Right.
and I never did. So thankfully on that.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously, like I went with my gut, and I was like this. I was like, hey, I graduate early. I'm getting a great degree at this prestigious university, and I was like this. I was like, I'm gonna go, and basically I said I'm gonna go gamble on this, and I said I know myself and my skill set, and I'm going to be honest, the first 24 hours were crazy. I mean, I got like 10 offers, and I was setting up OVs, and my phone was literally blown up. And I was like, what is going on here? I was like, this is crazy, because I've been in the portal before, but this time it was a small window. You had 15 days. You got to get visits in. And it was just so crazy to see everything in firsthand. Like I remember the call, because when they called me, it was Sunday morning. I got done setting my official visit with Wake Forest for, tomorrow. Louisville was supposed to be today. They called me Sunday morning around 11 a.m. Coach Combs says, hey, me and him go way back and from high school, because I'm originally from Columbus, Ohio, and he was at Ohio State.
Right.
And, my story was, he asked me, hey, would you come to Michigan? We know each other for years. I said, yeah. I said, I would love to come to Michigan. I said, it's been my dream school. I said, I got recruited in high school, and Ohio State really never, besides you, I told him, besides you took me serious. I said, after that, I know you went to Cincinnati, and, it's part of the business and coaching. But, I mean, Kerry Combs and I mean, we have such a great relationship. I mean, I love the University of Michigan. I remember 6 years ago, I mean, it's crazy to say 6 years ago when I was a senior in high school. It was when Jim Harbaugh was there, Brad Vanta, when he was a special teams analyst, I mean, me and him made a great connection, and I fell in love with it. I mean, obviously it's a prestigious university with the academic resources. I mean, what it holds, the value it. I mean, the alum. I mean, this is a great alum to be a part of, and it's the most historical football program to be a part of, and most importantly, be a part of the game. So it's such a blessing, and I mean, it was crazy. I mean, that portal. I mean, I'll tell anyone this: if you have any more questions about it, I'm willing to answer.
Well, all right, So if you, John, let me know if you have something you want to run with right now. But all right,
well,
so let's
real quick. I'll ask one thing. So how has the rivalry changed for you? Because you grew up in Columbus, and you were talking with Coombs back when he was at Ohio State. So what was that conversation like when Kerry hit you, when Coach Coombs hit you up and was like, hey, I've switched sides. Would you want to join me?
It was at that time during my senior year of high school during recruiting, it was pretty nuts, because I was talking to Illinois, Michigan, and Ohio State. So I was like, because they came in a little late, like in the November, like when my high school senior season was about to end. And it was just nuts. I was talking to my parents. I was like, if they do throw the offer, I was like, I might consider it. But I said, I really like Michigan really more, because the relationship I made with Coach Banta and everything. And my parents, I mean, I'm going to keep it real. They're actually more Michigan fans than Ohio State fans from the get-go. So they were really stoked when Sunday morning called, and they're like, oh, yeah, it's on. So it was funny when he called and said, hey, I switched to the other side. So would you want to come? And I was like, yeah, I'm down. Let's do this. I'm ready to do this.
Heck yeah. All right. So let's kind of, before we get into Kerry Combs and Whittingham and learning more about that, let's talk more, because the portal is a lot of everybody is just observing this.
Yeah, for sure.
From coaches. I mean, if you heard Kyle Whittingham today, because he was on the media tour today, he did Eisen, he did Dan Patrick, he did Bustin' with the Boys today. Actually, I think the Bustin' with the Boys was yesterday, but it was released today. And even he is saying when he was talking about Underwood, for example, there was things in place and things were trending well yesterday, but even he wasn't sure until it was signed. It's so you know, coming, you know, as you know, you're living it. So like what were you prepared before the portal, like in terms of like your representation? What did they tell you? And then like in terms of like what to like prepare for, what they expect. I have heard rumors. You tell me if this is accurate or not. And again, whichever you can't share, don't share. But
Absolutely, yeah.
I've heard some speculation from some people that some agents are telling their players to try and increase their value now, because in the coming, maybe even next year, there could be some guardrails that will limit player earnings.
Yeah.
So have any of these things been discussed in the background?
I mean, for me, I don't have an agent, and I know certain people that do, and most importantly, like, I don't get involved in that. I mean, no one really tells me, because that's like a serious, like, that's a serious topic, and I really wish I knew the answer, and most importantly, I mean, really don't know. So, I mean, well, yeah, the only thing I've heard is the only rumors I have is just like yes and no, but I can't tell from my own experience and someone else's. So that's all I got on that one. Yeah.
That's fair. But okay, so you enter the portal. What's that ride like? Like as just going through it, like nervous, excited?
I'm going to be honest. It was a mixture of both, because I knew I had a great year. I knew I had people helping me, like kicking coaches and snapping coaches that backed me up with everything, and had, you know, just calling schools and all this. And, you know, there were some schools that really came unexpected. You know, I wasn't expecting Louisville or Wake Forest in the same conference. I wasn't expecting Kentucky. I mean, there were schools I was like, wow. And then, you know, setting up visits. I mean, I've been in the portal before, but this time was way different because I had so much game experience. And for a little bit in the first 24 hours, all right, I'm gonna be honest, I was nervous, because I was like, I don't know what's gonna happen. I don't know what school I'm gonna go to. I don't know how fast I'm gonna have to make a decision. And I don't know if it's gonna be a tough choice, because that's always like the worst feeling. If you have two great schools and you're like, oh my God, I gotta pick A or B. And thankfully it didn't have to come to that. But I mean, it was just nuts, because I mean, the first day in the portal, I was on the phone from 9 o'clock in the morning till 10 o'clock at night. And it was just crazy, because I was like, I'm experiencing the coaching life in one day.
Right.
So it was crazy. And I mean, it was excitement. I mean, I was hearing like schools just calling me. I mean, appreciate the love and interest, and knowing people know what the skill set I have to offer for special teams and what I can do. But it was just nuts. I mean, mixture of both. I said nervous and exciting.
Okay, so then let's get into. So Kerry Combs was your first point of contact. Is this accurate?
Yeah.
Okay, so Kerry Combs reaches out, and like, what is so Kerry Combs is new to us. Like, we just got him a month ago. You know, so like we're still learning. Now he has very good reputation.
Great improvement in the citrus with special teams.
1 month in, we're already seeing an improvement in our special teams play, which we were excited about. So tell us about Kerry Combs. What's he like? Word is he's an elite recruiter. I mean, if you could talk on that.
Oh, no, absolutely. My best friend, he played for Coach Combs at Cincinnati, and he went to my high school, Case and Pfeiffer. He was a long snapper who taught me long snapping. And he told me this when I called him about the offer. He said, dude, I'm going to give you a fair warning. He's the man. He brings the juice. I'm talking about like, hey, it doesn't matter how old he is. He's bringing the juice, and he's the guy who's going to have that standard to a high level. And me and him, we've had a relationship, I said, the past, from high school till now. And, when we talked, we literally were, I could just feel the energy from this guy, the amount of excitement he loves for the game. The way he really cares about special teams. And one, he's a winner. His resume is not a joke. He has 3 NFL long snappers in the NFL, and he does so well for net, punting, kickoff, return. The whole 9 yards on teams. And it's just a crazy way to look at it, because I'm like this. I'm blessed to have a coach like this, because that was one thing I was looking forward to, is like, if I could have a coach like that, I can have a chance to improve my draft stock and play at the highest level. And Coach Combs is a perfect fit. A man who has so much respect in his business and will be an all-time coaching legend for sure.
Hell yeah, man. Okay, so then let me ask this. So have you had any communication or contact with Kyle Whittingham at all? Or like, how is or after Combs, like, what is the process? So I guess let's ask that. Have you had any interaction with Kyle Whittingham at all?
Not yet, no, because Coach Combs was telling me they've been. Don't get me wrong. This time of the window, they've been super busy. So I haven't had a chance. Yeah. And I literally just got everything done today. Like, I'm going to be moving in really soon, and that's when I'll be able to meet everyone. And he's big on meeting people in person too. He really cares about that. And I'm looking forward to it. I mean, I haven't had a chance to meet him yet, but when I do, I'm thrilled. And he has a heck of a resume, and he's going to be a great guy to play for.
Yeah, definitely, man. And I'll say this, and John, any questions you have, go for it. But like, and I know you know what I'm about. Special teams matters at Michigan. Like the program has just had they care about it. I mean, look, we have Cheeseman in the NFL right now from Michigan.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're familiar with Cameron. But like, so it's been, since Harbaugh for sure. But even prior to that, it was still like important to the university. So yeah, man. I mean, I'm excited. I can't wait. John, any questions on your end?
So I know you said pre-show you've been to Ann Arbor before.
Yes.
So are you excited to be hopping there? Do you got your food spots? You got your various things mapped out as far as what you're.
I'm really excited to be back. I mean, I haven't been back there since senior year of high school, and the minute I was on there, my private workout in high school, and when I took that first game day visit, I mean, I loved it. I mean, I loved everything about the campus. I mean, so easy to get around. I mean, I don't know about the food spots yet, but I'll figure them out soon. But there's one spot that I remember I went to. It was some Greek place, and it was unbelievable. And I was like, everything. I mean, even the student body. I mean, so much people love the campus, and there's so much like joy, and it's just I love that. I mean, it's just an amazing place to be, and most importantly, I'm just excited to spend it my last year, at the University of Michigan. So I'm pumped.
Heck yeah.
And have you been in contact with any players, maybe on special teams, or have you who's kind of been your circle of influence, like as you kind of have been working through the decision, like aside from Coach Coombs, obviously he's going to be the primary, but.
Yeah. I mean, I have a couple of friends that from back home that go to school there that are just students. And then I had a buddy, who's who formerly played there. And, I called him too about it. I was like, hey, I need to talk to you about something. He's like, what's up? And I said, hey, I know you played here. I know, I want to ask you, hey, what did you think about this place? I said, I love it. I said, I want your personal opinion from your playing experience. He said, dude, 10 out of 10. He's like, you got to go. He's like, especially if they got everything what you need there. He's like, dude, you got to give yourself the best shot. And I said, one, it's always great catching up with you, my friend. And I said, dude, thank you for the advice. I really needed it. And plus, even talking to my folks too. I mean, I really had to sit down because my dad played college basketball. He knows if you go to the biggest stage, you have the best shot to play in the league. And he said we really thought about it, and it was an easy decision, but we had to really think about, hey, let's really think on this. And I'm happy that it happened.
Heck yeah, man. Well, then, all right. I guess what are next steps? I mean, so now, I think the semester starts next week Wednesday, right?
Yeah, next week Wednesday. Yeah, correct.
Okay, so then what are next steps for you? How's that transition work?
So right now, I already, got everything in, the paperwork they needed. And, I'm pretty much already in school. So that's a huge factor to get all that in. And most importantly, they said, I don't know, I think I might be moving in this weekend or, next week, early before school, because they're making sure hey, we want, everyone here, before school starts to make it easier and stuff like that. And yeah, so I'm excited. I'm only 2 hours and 45 minutes away, and I'm just ready to go. I'm ready to go and get ready for everything that's going to be coming with it. So I'm excited.
Yeah, actually, John, someone in the comments says classes start tomorrow. Nico, are you aware that semester might actually be starting tomorrow?
I heard it was either tomorrow or next week. So I really don't even know the academic schedule, but they told me they were telling me yo, you're good. You're good. You're we'll get everything situated. They know the people on the academic side know what's going on.
Yeah, they've got it on lock. And let's be honest, that first week is usually here's your syllabus.
Yeah.
I'm sure you're going to be well taken care of by the department and everybody who helps make sure that all the student athletes get.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, I'm not too worried at all. I was like this. I was like, the first week's really not that crazy. It's just syllabus add or drop.
The first week's when you hear what they're telling you you're going to learn, you're like, oh my God. And then you get through it, you knock it out. But yeah, man. Well, all right. Well, Nico, I have all the questions I have. John, do you have any questions? Chad, if you have any questions, shoot us a super chat now. We can get Nico to answer some of those for us. But
we do have a super chat question for Nico. So So Michigander wants to know, can you get some of your pit buddies to come to the University of Michigan? Are you going to be involved in the recruiting process now?
I mean, I could be. I know a lot of buddies who started at Pitt, and they're really great players. I mean, some of my buddies took some great visits, but they haven't committed anywhere. So I can work my magic. And I had some buddies, I'm not going to say their names, but they've texted me and said, hey, can you help me out? I was like this. I said, hey, when I get my stuff done, let me talk to them when I'm officially up there. I said I could probably do something to get something because it's not the first time I've helped someone get to a school, especially that I'm close with. So there's a possibility, but we'll see. We'll see for sure.
Yeah. Hell yeah, man.
All right.
Okay.
Well, listen, Nico, it's very exciting to have you today, especially because the news literally broke a few hours ago. You came on here right away. And so exclusive interview here at Michigan Voice College Football. But let people know. So you got Nico _Crawford 23 on X. Any other socials you want people to know about?
Yeah, what's it called? My Instagram is _Nico Crawford. I'm right there. And always love following fans, and I'm looking forward for the season. So, and it's gonna be a fun one. I appreciate you guys having me. It really means a lot. Just talking about ball, talking about the whole process, and hopefully I can meet you guys soon in person. It'd be great.
Absolutely, Nico. Let me tell you this right now. You have an open invitation to come back on this show. We really appreciate it. We like building relationships with the players if we can, and you're always welcome, man. And also, let me also say this. If you ever have an NIL cause, or if you ever have an event or a charity or anything you want to promote or anything you just want to get out there, let us know. You have an open invite, my friend, okay?
Absolutely. I got your guys' contact, and it really means a lot for that.
All right, buddy. Well, have a good one. Go Blue and kick some ass, all right?
Absolutely. Appreciate you guys. Go Blue.
Go Blue. Love it. All right. Nico Crawford, everybody. Today's the first portal pickup from Michigan, the Kyle Whittingham staff. Nico Crawford, long snapper from after spending 2 years at Pitt. That's very exciting. And so to kind of take us a few steps back.
Yeah.
To take a few steps back, there's been a lot going on the last few weeks, right? And so to kind of look at what I want to do is kind of look at the full picture of what Kyle Whittingham has been dealing with to kind of bring us up to this portal conversation, because that's probably the number one burning question that everyone wants to know is the timeline, kind of what are some of the factors behind, we're clearly a little bit behind the 8 ball. And I think it has to start with the fact that the man just finalized his staff. Literally just finalized his staff.
So exactly. And that's why yesterday one of our viewers, which again, I appreciate anyone reaching out. I love engaging with the community and Michigan fans in general, whether you watch the show or not or whatever. But they asked, when do we anticipate Michigan to start making moves? And I was like, well, the reality is, and a lot of people weren't aware of this, but the reality is Ward told Sean McGee to hold off on negotiations with players until the staff was assembled, so the staff can identify what they have, what the situation is, what our resources are, where things stand. Because you got to remember, the staff did not get to Ann Arbor until Saturday, which was the 2nd, right, John? Or the 3rd. So they got in on the 3rd.
Saturday the 3rd. Yeah,
that's right. So they got in on the 3rd, and then long hours, long days, man. I mean, that's what I heard, and yeah. So yesterday I was asked. That's right, and essentially the focus was this, though: player retention, which we are seeing, and that's what I talked about in the post I made on Twitter earlier yesterday. And I said the focus right now is on player retention, and I said to just have some patience because it's not the end of the movie, right? We are simply it's like I heard a philosopher once speak about, and I'll give credit, Alan Watts, a big fan of Alan Watts, by the way. But there's a philosopher who spoke about so many people rush to judgment or assumption, but you've only watched the first 15, 20 minutes of the movie. We got to allow this to play out, boys. And the reality is Michigan was working from behind, working very hard to identify and grasp where they stand, because you got to remember this, right? You have a whole new coaching staff coming into a whole new program. I mean, I'm sure they've looked at things before they showed up on Saturday, but at the end of the day, you don't truly know what you have. And anyone can tell you who's done a job transition. you're quite overwhelmed, especially your first week. Like, you are over. It is like a whirlwind. You're trying to process. You're taking as much as you can, and at the end of the day, it's just a lot. So I think Michigan, where things stand is they are in the negotiation player retainment phase, which we talked about. That's the early phase of the transfer portal. They are obviously clearly making contact. We just talked to Nico. They're clearly making contact with portal players, but I think retaining their guys so they can truly understand their cap has been priority. And then you will see as they retain these guys, and we will talk about the guys who are still out there, and where that stands, at least from what we understand. And then I think, yeah, you will continue to see going into tomorrow, even because I know, for example, there's a player right now we are waiting on an announcement that is Cole Sullivan. So Cole Sullivan's supposed to be announcing either tonight or tomorrow. Now he met, and we'll get into that. We'll get into where that stands, but that's where we are. So we are in the player retention game right now. Now let me say, John,
so let me
go on.
Well, real quick. So just for those who might have been taking a snooze for a second, or might have been maybe doing some multitasking, look, we've all been there. You're saying that Ward Manuel, who has been beloved on this program, that Ward Manuel said no NIL negotiations until the head coach was hired, and that includes the transfer portal situation. So essentially, the man couldn't even start any NIL talks with anybody because he had to be hired, and then he had to get his staff.
So to your point, so I received information that there was some parents upset about that, especially in Orlando, which is how I got the information. And because there were some people who were around some of the parents and it was being discussed. And for example, the Sprags were very upset with how that was, from my understanding. The Sprag family was not happy with how that was handled in terms of the NIL stuff. Now, I will say, though, I've thought on this because in my post, I said it was an error. I said I felt it was an error that Ward told Sean McGee to hold off on negotiations until the staff is in place. So this way, and I said I thought that was an error because you should have at least engaged more. So from my understanding, there was zero conversation, and that rubbed some parents the wrong way. Although the parents did say that they will have these, like the Michigan did say they will have these conversations, but they want to wait until they get things in place. Or before, they want to get the staff in place and then they can go from there. Because one thing that Michigan wanted to avoid was being used as a bargaining chip. They didn't want their number, whatever their number was, to be used as a bargaining chip. Plus, on top of that, and like I said, I did say it was an error in my post, but I have since reflected on that. Honestly, bro, looking back at it, I think it might have been the right play. Because here's why. How do we what we don't know, and me and Juju talk about this a lot. What we don't know is the tendencies of these coaches. We don't know what they like. We don't know what they're looking for. How are we to know? Like, think about this. Let's say Ward Manuel didn't put a restriction on Sean McGee, right? Well, if Sean McGee is making $1 million deals, which he is, with some of these players, but it's not who the coach wants, that's not, to be honest, they did the right thing. And now it's frustrating as a fan because we're sitting here watching our players getting courted, right? You're watching these guys get courted by different schools, and
it's rough.
But at the end of the day, like it like right now, things to me, and we will get into this more, they're working out. Like right now, the players they are bringing back are the right players they should be bringing back. Now there are some names still out there that we're waiting on, and we lost another one today in Jordan Young, which sucks. But I think actually Michigan may have done the right thing. Now we need to again see the rest of how this plays out because it's going to determine the success of this portal run here. But at the end of the day, I mean, I do kind of agree with it's hard to negotiate with a player if you don't even know what the position coach truly feels about that player, because they couldn't it's not like remember, like these coaches were coaching just like 3 days prior. So how can you reach out to that old, I mean, I guess you could. I mean, I guess Kyle Whittingham could be like, hey, what do you think about Andrew Sprag here? You know what I mean? But end of the day, I mean, I don't. It's an interesting decision. I mean, it could go one or two ways, but I've reflected since then, and I do think it wasn't necessarily the worst mistake, because the truth is, look at them closing right now. I mean, guys, they just, like, we're gonna get into Andrew Marsh, but like, that's serious. Like, understand, he was being aggressive, and we do. I think many of us understand, being very aggressively pursued. You know, and not only that, the agent was probably one of the more active agents in terms of pushing their player to see their value, right? So, I mean, I think Michigan's doing a pretty sound job right now, to be quite frank with everything. I'm not entirely upset with Ward. I was initially, but again, this was before the announcements started happening. But once you see the announcements happening and you're realizing, well, the staff has had 2 days to really evaluate this roster. You know, if they came in on Saturday, they're now retaining guys on Monday. Like, I can't be too upset with this. Like, that's another thing too, as fans. Like, I'm just gonna be honest, we need to chill. Like, there are some fans I will argue, you know, I've engaged with, where I will say, guys, we gotta, like, relax. It's been 72 hours since the staff's been here. You know, like, you can't just expect results. Like, there is an you know, they got to analyze. They got to go through a gestation process. You know, like, there is a timing here, and I think now forward we are going to start seeing what we want to see: players retained, players scheduling visits, us signing guys that are going to fit. You know, we you know, Quincy Porter just now. I don't have anything here, but Quincy Porter just hopped in the portal, a wide receiver that I know a lot of us were very excited about. And who liked Michigan, who was threatened to lose this. Ryan Day threatened his scholarship offer if he came and visited Michigan, you know, so
wild.
Yeah, when he was a recruit. So, I mean, it's, so I don't know. I think, you know, where we stand, we just kind of laid it out, John, because we were kind of talking about what's next. But look, Michigan right now is retaining its talent. And I'm going to tell you guys right now, if you look at the talent rankings for last season, okay, I believe Michigan was ranked around 11 or 12. What is this new staff going to do with that talent? And I know we've lost some. Like, there are still players in limbo, which we will get into more. There's another topic we're going to talk about, like, you know, who's staying, who's not, all that. But end of the day, I mean, the talent's here. They need to add more. This isn't a complete roster. But if they continue keeping the players that, you know, if they continue signing our guys, and so far they've signed the right ones, and there are some ones we still want, which we'll get into, like I said, and they add some talent to this, like they add a wide receiver, they add some defensive line players, which, by the way, the Utah defensive end, you know, there's a feel that Michigan's, you know, Michigan's a likely landing spot. Okay. And he had 11.5 sacks last year. So we'll see. You know, I think Michigan's in a good direction, you know, and I think, and I want to say this too. Kyle Whittingham was on Dan Patrick today.
I saw that.
And I saw one of his comments that was extremely interesting to me was, we are now in the $40 million roster era. And let me tell you why that's insane. Outside of the obvious, 40 million, right?
Right.
2 years ago, a $20 million roster was considered elite. It doubled in 2 years, boys. Like, this is crazy. Like, this is a lot of money. This is, and I'm going to tell you right now, I am a believer Michigan's touching 40. Yeah, 42 million. Okay, so, like, I'm a firm believer Michigan's now touching 40 because here's why. So here's what's messed up, though. You now have kids entering the portal just to increase their value because you're now negotiating for your own guys. And I know a lot of people, this is turning a lot of people off of college football. The resolution is change. That's not on us yet in terms of a CBA, collective bargaining agreement. You know, them being rules, guidelines, possible cap in place, contracts that can actually be enforceable, because they're not really fully enforceable. You know, so it is truly a Wild West situation. And now that Michigan has to like the Andrew Marsh situation, for example.
Yeah. So why don't we tackle that topic and the portal in general? Let's hit a couple of super chats real quick, and then we'll do that whole topic. So Michigander says the offense now starting to shape up, need wide receivers, of course, and we're about to talk about one that's coming back. Very exciting. Thank you, Michigander. Another one, I doubt Micah Simon even calls Quincy Porter.
Well, to that point, though, Michigander, this is what we don't know yet. We do not know the style, the athletic profile Micah's looking for. We don't that's what we're learning, right? Each coach has a like, and all players are not the same, right? So that's one of the things too. You got people saying, "Oh, who's Michigan going to get?" It's like, well, it's hard to know because one, we have more. This coaching staff has more resources than they've ever had, ever. So they're now dealing with a whole new quality talent level that they've never had opportunity. Now, granted, they'll get a guy here and there who's a top 100, sure, but they're now playing at a different level. They're at the high roller table now, right? So now they're at the high roller table. It's a new environment now. What is this staff's preference in player profile? I don't know yet. Like, we have an idea at Utah with some of these guys we're working with, but let's just be honest. They didn't have the full menu in front of them. So now you have a menu with much more options. Right. We're learning, so I don't know what Micah's athlete profile is for what position he's looking for yet.
Well, and Muscle, continuing with the OSU receiver topic. So OSU receiver room getting gutted. And I'm wondering if Hartline taking a head coaching position may have something to do with that. I feel like they're going to be fine.
Yeah, I'm
they're
sure
going to be fine at wide receiver. They're just printing them. They print them out like it's nothing. But maybe it gets a little harder for them with Hartline gone. I feel like he was a top of the line recruiter.
I would agree. But I think Ohio State will be fine. I think they'll figure it out. It's Ryan Day is there. Let's not forget. In terms of offensive ability, they're still very capable.
True. Muscle says, thank you for the 10, by the way. I think with the new staff, Marsh, Browder, Zach Marshall can really shine. What say you guys? Also, are we going after a portal receiver? And what about John Henry Daly? So we're definitely going to cover some of that in the portal segment. But I think it's safe to say with Beck's offense, with the staff that they've put together, the number 2 rushing offense in the country, number 6 offense overall in the country, they did pretty good, right? And I feel like the style of offense that Jason Beck runs, which does involve some spread, it does involve 11 personnel, but he runs some 12, he runs some 22. He does mix it up. And I feel like Bryce is going to have so much more because he adapts the offense to his quarterback. So I feel like just based on the film I've watched, I could see Bryce doing very well in this offense because it doesn't force you to be Superman. It doesn't. It reminds me of the best days of Michigan because the quarterback, like JJ, he was never asked to be Superman, right? He was asked to keep defenses honest. And then sometimes he would just have a lights out throw. And I feel like that's what we need from Bryce as he grows and develops. We need him to take care of the ball. We need him to be confident and then take a shot sometimes. I feel like with Jason Beck, he'll be able to do all of those things and then some.
Yeah. I anticipate very sound, good developmental football. I think every single kid on this roster now has an opportunity to not only reach a level of play that they haven't, but to play above their talent level. I think this coaching staff is going to get guys to play above their talent level. Not to say these dudes aren't talented. Clearly, Browder, some of the best hands. His hands are stupid. Zach Marshall has dog in him, and we know what Andrew Marsh is, right? So, end of the day, I just feel we're going to have a very sound, fundamental football team that plays the right way and gets these guys to the ceiling of their potential, if not higher, because they're playing within the team system and all that. So, look, no one's going to argue the developmental prowess of this coaching staff. That's what they're known for. So now, what are they going to do with these ingredients?
Yeah.
right? That's the thing, and like, again, Whittingham, to his interview we did with Dan Patrick, he says he's fully anticipating a 16-team playoff this year. That's what he's hearing. So, he knows the mission is get into the playoffs and let's try to go on a playoff run. I mean, that's just what it is. Obviously, beat your rival, all that crap, but that goes without saying. We know this. But, this coaching staff, I think, is gunning for playoffs year one, just from what I'm hearing from his interviews, the way he's talking.
Yeah, for sure. So I think with that said, we have a big portal segment, obviously, and we just received some pretty exciting news from Sam Webb and now Detroit Free Press, and others have gone live with it. So Webb had it first, and then now everybody's kind of popping. But those who stay, we'll start with those who stay, and
Yes.
and it just so happens that we had this guy on our air about a year ago. Andrew Marsh was announced as staying at Michigan. Reportedly, potentially 2-year deal was being worked on, but at the very least, they have him back for 2026, which I think that's your ex, that's your guy. And then it's like he's like Michigan needed to get him to kind of have that foundation alongside Bryce, and so I wanted to kind of hit on what were your take on Andrew Marsh coming back?
Major. We're talking one of the best freshman wide receivers in the nation. We're talking a kid who obviously, I mean, look, man, from the day he started, he was a productive wide receiver for us playing as a freshman. He's only going to get better. He has Sunday ability, NFL talent. The kid's smooth, athletically gifted. He's also just a ball player, bro. You know what I mean? So, you add his wide receiver ability. Now we need more, clearly. We'll get into that, but you got Bryce back. This offensive line's now coming together. You have a potential running game juggernaut, which we will also get into. And then you have Jason Beck, who had the number 5 scoring offense in the nation, number 6 total offense. With this coaching staff, I'm excited, dude. I mean, like, how's it not a win? And it's major. And like, look, it sucks that. But to be honest, like, that's the other thing. Like, I was gonna say, it sucks that we have to negotiate with our own guys. But there is. But here's the truth, though.
That's the new era. That's where we're at.
It is. But here's the other thing too, though. It's a whole new coaching staff. These players don't know these. They gotta the truth is too, and I do kind of understand it. Some of these kids went into the portal so they can get re-recruited by the staff. And also, like we said, Michigan was unwilling to do NIL negotiations during the period of the staff not being in place. So this is when they did it. They essentially went through a whole new recruiting process because it is a whole new staff and they want to get familiarized with it. By the way, by many accounts, everyone who has has done their introductory meetings with players and the coach, things have been very positive. And we will talk about Cole Sullivan, but his meeting with Alex Whittingham, very positive, right? So, it's just a unique situation. I wonder if Whittingham was our coach this year, how this transfer portal would actually look, how many guys would actually jump in. I think less, but it is what it is at the end of the day. And Michigan's doing the best they can. But we could talk about each individual one by one, John.
Yeah, sure. So I mean, Bryce Underwood,
right?
That's your quarterback, right? That's the key foundation that I think that winning him over. Then probably the dominoes with Marsh and others that probably helped things out with some of these later ones now, like Garnero just announced that he's coming back. Bryce Underwood announcing that he's returning. I know that it's crazy that we have to do it, but that's just the world we're in right now and the coaching transition that we're in double together. But Bryce, there were times this year where I saw the vision. And I know that people have been tough on Bryce, and he brought some of it on himself with the early comments. Haven't seen a freshman like me, but I saw an 18-year-old who could be great. He is. I mean, right now he's 18, but I saw moments in the Washington game, the Maryland game, in other games, even in early on, where you saw flashes of what Bryce Underwood could be later in college. And so I'm glad at least we've remedied the mistake now that and Sharon had to get into some trouble in order for that to happen. But we've remedied the mistake, and now we have, like, he is surrounded by a dedicated quarterback coach, Coy Detmer Jr., Jason Beck, very competent offensive coordinator, Jim Harding, very competent O-line coach. So now the pieces are around him that I feel like they can adapt to him, he can adapt to them, and it's going to be an interesting look in 2026 with a more mistake-free. Like, there's going to be mistakes, but I just feel like because of the experience of this coaching staff, the amount of times they're going to look undisciplined, the amount of selfies, the amount of penalties, the amount of some of these things that we've seen because the coaching staff may have been a little distracted this year. I feel like at least at bare minimum, some of those are not going to be the case with this coaching staff, with the decades of experience that they have collectively.
Yeah,
and so
I mean,
Bryce
look,
would be a great fit.
Yes, I mean, if you look at the quarterback play of Utah under Whittingham, it's been good. I mean, it's been quality quarterback play. He just hasn't had the talent level at Utah that he has with an Underwood, who's a raw ball of clay, not developed, still has a lot to grow and mature. But what this signifies to me, right? So there's always more to the surface level. Well, this is major because I'm clearly QB1. Oh, of course, TJ, but no, even greater than that. So had personally told me if Bryce is on board, and then that means the donors are fully committed, by the way. And the donors who matter, especially we're talking about the Whales, we're talking about the Ellisons. And I was told if Bryce is on board, then the donors are going to be even more aggressive with what they're giving to Michigan Athletics. So guess what? We get Bryce, and then we get Andrew Marsh, right? That follows a day later. So now, and I know there's some people who are challenging, well, are we really going to trust Sam Webb versus, and I think there's also a comment coming on that as well, versus, Andrew Marsh actually posting it himself or even the team doing a graphic or whatever.
If Tony Garcia from the Detroit Free Press is posting it, it's for real.
And Tony Garcia, who I actually had an interaction with last week, he got mad at me. But I didn't know it was his picture, bro. I had no idea. But anyway, shout Tony Garcia. All love. It's all good. But I know he operates very carefully. So if that's the case, then I'm confident saying that. And plus, and I know Sam Webb had a bad November. We all know. But listen, Sam Webb, he knows some things, dude. You know what I mean? Like, he knows game, he knows ball. Like, he's not. I don't think he's just throwing that out there for no reason, especially because he knows he had a bad November. So I think he's very conscious on what he's putting out there. But so be it. I think this is a great signifier of the donors, the collective, the coaching staff, the entire athletic department going in the same direction right now, being aggressive. I think they understand. Listen, like we talked about when Kyle Whittingham was hired, there's a mission. The mission's a national championship. It is. That's why he's here. He has 5 years to get one. He's going to go for it. We got Zeke Berry back. We can hit on that. I'll be honest with you. Whether we kept him or not, I was fine, because there appears to be a lot of corner targets out there that Michigan could potentially get. I know Snowden's one that people have speculated, the one from Utah, who's actually rated pretty highly. I do want him. Blake Frazier coming back, I think, is major. This allows you not to need Andrew Sprag. Okay. Jake Ganair coming back, major in my opinion, because this is our young defensive line right now. Let's look at in Babaloa, right? So let's project, what does this offensive line look like? We'll get into Cole Sullivan and some of the others that aren't on this list, but let's project, right? So what's this offensive line even look like? Well, I think it's fair to say with Sprague currently not in the picture.
Why don't we start with Garnera? Because Garnera announcing we now have our center.
Right. That's right. So our center, right. All right. That's fair. So we can say for certain our center's here, right? That fair?
Yeah.
Okay. Evan Linkjohn, who's not on this list, has also, just so you know, publicly announced he's back about an hour ago. So Evan Link is back. Okay. We know Giovanni Al-Hadi's going to the draft. We have a left guard position that's open. I think logically anyone can tell you, as long as you've been paying attention to this, Evan Link is probably our logical next left guard, unless there's a portal acquisition. But then again, why would they bring back Evan Link if they plan on adding somebody there? Evan Link is likely your left guard. So you have your center, you have your left guard. Your left tackle, well, it was going to be Andrew Babalola before he got injured. Okay? So if Andrew Babalola, we assumed it would be Andrew Babalola as the season progressed. But now with Andrew Babalola coming back, I think the logical assumption on your 5-star offensive lineman that you went to bat for and you went into NIL negotiations not only once but twice now to get retained, I think it's very logical to assume he's your left tackle. I think that's fair, right?
Babalola is who I have as left tackle.
Right. So then the question becomes right guard and right tackle. Well, if Andrew Sprag is still MIA, which he is, and by the way, they were at Ganera and Sprag met with Michigan yesterday in person. Texas was extremely aggressive with both. A lot of NIL money being thrown at Sprag. I don't know where Michigan feels, because there does come a point where you're only going to go so high. I've also been told Ohio State's operating this way this year for sure. At the end of the day, they may think, and I think they probably do, Blake Frazier's your right tackle. I think that's fair. Do we agree? Then who would be your right tackle if not Blake Frazier?
Portal.
Who? Portal?
Insert Portal here.
I mean, well, we'll see. We'll see. Again, we got to watch this movie end, right? But I think it'd be right now, as things stand, I got Frazier right tackle. I think Babalola is your natural left tackle. I think Link's better at guard anyways. We all know this. He gets beat on the outside. If he can stay in the middle and he has Granera and Babalola on the other side of him, that should be good for him. Then the question becomes, who's our right guard?
Ty Haywood?
Well, maybe. It's possible. Or is that a portal acquisition? So, I mean, Haywood, maybe. I mean, if he's ready, another 5-star.
Yeah, it could be Haywood at right guard and then Frazier at right tackle if that configuration goes potentially.
Yeah. Now, how young and exciting is that offensive line? That's a lot of talent. That's a lot of young talent, and that's exciting for the future, especially when you have Harding as your offensive line coach, who's putting 2 first-rounders in the NFL this year. So, Luke Hamilton. Someone just mentioned Luke Hamilton. I believe he entered the portal. Maybe he didn't. I'm looking at the list now, and I actually don't see Luke Hamilton on here.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It could be flipped. I know some people in chat are saying left tackle, Frazier, right tackle, Babalola.
No. Babalola is a left tackle, I'm telling you. Put money on it. Who wants to bet me? Who wants to bet? Babalola ain't playing right tackle. His size, his body, his frame, he's a left tackle. They think, what? Why would you think? All right. We'll see, boys. We're going to, guess what? Nice off-season debate we're going to have. We'll have a good off-season. We'll see.
That's definitely going to be a topic. Where is everybody going?
Hey, just remember who had Justice Haynes this time last year. Just remember.
Yeah.
We'll see. I mean, listen, Frazier's good. We'll see how the coaching staff looks. That's the other thing, too. How's the coaching staff look at it? We don't know yet.
So with that said, so we've got Bryce, we got Marsh, we got the Zeke Berry coming back.
Yep.
That I'm not shocked by that. I feel like and you might know like how the NIL stuff is set up, but I feel like when you're returning compared to what you might be able to get in the open market, like sometimes it's better to stay when it comes to how much everybody's willing to pay you. Because, it depends. I feel like Zeke had his moments this year, but he also had a lot of moments where we didn't really see him. And so I feel like him coming back, he probably, I'm just assuming that he probably got a decent offer to stay versus maybe some of what was going on elsewhere. Who knows?
Yeah, well, yeah, and I also, again, like these players want to learn who this coaching staff is. I think there's also that they want to be re-familiarized, with the coaching staff. Yeah, I'm looking. I don't see Luke Hamilton. I guess I thought I swear I saw Luke Hamilton into it, but I don't see. I'm now looking at another list, and he's not. Interesting. Okay.
So
all right, let's hit on. All right, let's hit on what's remaining. Let's hit on is that we're good there. Okay, so here's where we are, boys. Right. So Cole Sullivan. I think this is probably everyone's number one they want back.
Yep.
Right now, I believe, it's Oklahoma and us. And Oklahoma, their head coach did an in-home visit today. But we're gonna find out. Apparently, an announcement's gonna come either tonight or tomorrow. That's kind of where that stands. I mean, I'll tell you right now, this is the number one want for me on who's available or who's left us.
I don't love what I heard that Brent Venables was flying to see him, and he's getting the last word. Yeah,
today he was in-home. In-home visit after he was just with them over the weekend, and they're obviously clearly aggressive here. So we're gonna find out. We're gonna find out here. So that's where we are with Cole Sullivan. Andrew Sprag. This is another one. Now, what's interesting is Texas. Tampered, by the way, but let's not get into it. Texas offering a lot of money right now, and I don't know where that. Clearly, it's not resolved because Sprag would just go to Texas. I've been in conversation with Matt Miller. He's been on the Texas side of things. Me and him have been talking about the Granera because Texas was also offering Granera, and so it's interesting. And on his side of things, he was hearing that Texas felt really good about both, but then we spoke yesterday and I kind of gave him an update on what we were hearing. And, Granera was trending. I told him yesterday, Granera appears to be trending Michigan. And then, the Sprag thing, we're waiting and seeing. So that'll be interesting because if Michigan's able to bring Sprag back, well, then we are going to have a very interesting offensive line battle this offseason because there's actually a lot of talent in only 5 spots. So then we're going to, may the best win. And I have full confidence. I want to stress this. I have full confidence in this staff. This is one of the things we're going to really appreciate, boys. Player identification, talent identification, identifying who should be where and not waiting until October. Actually understanding your roster in August or in March or in spring ball, having a better understanding of your roster, knowing what you're seeing. Our last staff did a terrible job of that. So I'm very intrigued with that.
Yeah, it's true. I'm a little skeptical on Sprag. I think Sullivan is very possible to come back. I do. I think OU's being very aggressive, but so is Michigan.
Yeah.
And so the resources, I feel like Sullivan he might just need to, it literally might be 50-50 and he sleeps on it. But I feel like Michigan might take him back.
Sprag?
Sullivan.
Oh, Sullivan. Clearly. Yes. I think Sullivan is like very important to them. I think Sullivan, as crazy as this is going to sound, is as important as Justice Haynes is to them, which we'll get into Justice Haynes, who's not on here. So it was reported today by CBS that Justice Haynes is, I guess we'll just read it. Let me just read it verbatim. Yeah. So Justice Haynes, let me find it right here. Michigan. So Matt Zenitz of CBS Sports says Michigan star junior running back Justice Haynes is strongly considering a return to college for another year instead of leaving for the NFL. So what we do know is Michigan has been trying to retain Justice Haynes for a while now. They've been in conversations with him since, there was rumors in November that they were going to shoot their shot with that. So here we are, and we're going to find out. And I'll tell you right now, if Michigan can pull Justice Haynes back, that running back room of Haynes, Marshall, Hyder, Capana, I think that's kind of where it stands. I know we got some freshmen coming in, another freshman, I think John Brown, maybe, or Ben Brown, I forgot his name. But regardless, juggernaut, almost too much talent for one room. There's, but we do have a very aggressive running offense, so it should mesh very well. I will say, if Justice Haynes is healthy, this team might be a playoff team. It might have been this year with an incompetent coaching staff. Imagine a competent one. So yeah, I'm for it, and I know the argument, and I made this argument in November, early December. Should the resources go to Justice Haynes, considering we have Marshall and Hyder already in the room, or should we put it at defensive line or wide receiver or another position and just get the talent at those areas of need. Well, my argument is simply this. If Michigan can still get Justice Haynes and still fix the holes on the roster, then no brainer. Why not? But if they can't, then they may need to consider this. I mean, clearly they have. I mean, they're not.
Yeah.
Still.
So here, I'm in favor of Haynes. And I have heard a couple of reports that there is money that's being allocated specifically to bring Haynes back.
Right, like its own fund. Yeah.
And if that means that those funds can't then be used for another player. So in that case,
just like the Underwood recruitment, by the way, but go on.
In that case, if there is dedicated money allocated to Justice Haynes, then I see no issue whatsoever bringing him back, because otherwise that money it's not going to another player, y'all. It's either going to Haynes. I mean, they might fork out an allocation for a different player, but this is money for Haynes. So it's at that point I'm like, cool, right? Because our running backs did get thin throughout the year, right? We had Justice Haynes, but then we had Jordan Marshall, and then we had Kuzdal as RB1 late down the stretch of the season because of injuries. So given what happened with injuries this year, Doug Alisai, I think the world of him as a strength and conditioning coach. I think he's going to elevate the strength and conditioning program at this university.
Yeah.
But we literally just had an example of our third string having to be a first string this year.
Right.
So literally just in the Citrus Bowl, and in Ohio State game.
Player who jumped in the portal, Kuzdal.
Yes.
Right. So Bryson Kuzdal just recently jumped in not too long ago. Good luck, man. I mean, I would have liked to kept him, obviously, clearly, but if they intend to fully retain Justice Haynes, we don't need Kuzdal, respectfully. Right. We just don't. So that's where I'm okay there. Let's get into some other players who jumped in the portal that are interesting. So
so Jasper Parker has. So I wanted to hit on the ones who have already gone to another school. So Jasper Parker is going to Arkansas.
Right.
So best of luck, I guess, to him there.
Right. And he's from Louisiana, makes sense, geographically speaking. I mean, good luck to him, because I actually like Pat Parker, but I understand why. I mean, this room is he just got jumped by a freshman who's not even here yet.
Right. Hyder's going to
start over him, and if you're bringing back Haynes, why would you, I get it.
Yeah. And then another one that I have down is Jaden Mangum, who is going to Purdue. So
that's okay. That's again not a loss. So I don't look at that as a loss. Personally, I wouldn't have mind keeping him. Brady Prescorn entered the portal. That kind of sucks, because his high school potential was just so amazing. Caden Strayhorn went to Alabama. Let's see. Oh, here's one that sucked. Elijah Dotson. Oh, I wanted to keep that one. So Elijah Dotson, Jordan Young entered today. That one sucked. Losing that one sucked. I'd like to get Jordan Young back. I would love to get Elijah Dotson back, but I've heard that's not going to happen. Maybe I'm wrong though. Let's see. Anyone else Hey, Mikey Keene entered the portal, John.
Yeah. So if we just want to run down through some of these. Like Davis Warren, Jaden Davis, Mikey Keene, all in the portal. Jaden Davis put out some film today of some of his practice film. He put it out on X for people to see, and actually some of it doesn't look bad.
Yeah.
So some of it looks like he's throwing some shots. He's taking his shots. I hope he lands somewhere, man, because he had to go through a lot of transition, multiple different QB coaches. I hope he turns out okay. Mikey Keene obviously never got to play a snap at Michigan as a starter or I don't think he ever played at quarterback, like because he was injured. So I get those.
All right. So let's ask this question, John. And I know everyone's watching this Michigan basketball game where we're only up 2 right now. Better figure it out, boys. But okay, let's say hypothetically we bring back Cole Sullivan, Justice Haynes, and Jordan Young, because I don't know if that's out of the question at all or not. Let's just say we do bring back Jordan Young, and we bring back Justice Haynes, we bring back Cole Sullivan. Do we want to put Andrew Sprag in this or no?
I just don't
Let's
know.
say no. Let's say no.
Yeah,
let's say
let's
no
just say
because let's just say no. But if they do,
If he comes back, that'd be great.
do we feel this is a successful? How do we feel about the roster? Now, granted, we still need to do some portal additions, but how do we feel about the roster, the retainment? Like, chat, let us know in the chat.
Yeah.
Can you give us an A, B, or C? Now, again, this is a qualifier because we understand the portal's not over with, and we need to add some wide receivers and some defensive linemen and corners and back end of the defense and all that. But if we want to repeat what we've currently retained on the roster, and then we get Justice Haynes, Cole Sullivan, and let's say Jordan Young, because I really want him back. How does that roster sound to you guys? Because to me, I find that successful.
Everyone said, and by everyone, I'm talking about the Buckeyes, the Spartans, and some of the other naysayers, said that Michigan was going to lose everybody. Even some of the quote-unquote Twitter insiders for Michigan were saying, oh, we're losing Bryce, we're losing Marsh, the sky is falling. So with just different people on X, I don't want to name them on here, but because I don't even think it's worth it, right? But it's like, I'll tell you offline who I'm talking about. But like that was the base, that was the where some people were coming from, and I was like, no, this is a pretty competent, legit coaching staff, and I think they're going to keep more people than people think. So with that as the backdrop, that with a total wholesale coaching change, you can there's actually not as much attrition
right.
as you would have expected. I think I would have expected more, to be honest.
And there could still be more, right? The staff's still identifying who they want to keep or don't, right? But boys, this was a playoff roster with a good coaching staff. I do believe the last 2 seasons. I really do. I think we are there almost. I mean, don't be wrong. Again, wide receiver, we got to get another one. We got to get at least 2 guys that we can count on. Tight end, I would love to see that upgrade. I know that Daniel Norton or Horton guys out there that I think is intriguing from New Mexico. And obviously edge and defensive line we need some talent on that defensive line. We really do. The Cole Sullivan thing makes linebacker now Jimmy Rolder, unfortunately, he's going to be declaring for the draft, so he's gone. And then the DBs, the DBs we're going to see here. I'm actually kind of excited about some of the names being projected as Michigan targets potentially. So I think we're all right. Like, all things considered, like, what is my opinion on the 6th of January with another week of the portal open? I think Michigan, as long as they can retain these final few guys, I think honestly, I would rate the retainment as an A personally. And then we will see on portal acquisition, because I'll tell you right now, if Michigan does not add some legit talent at some of these positions of need, I think it is extremely fair to be a little critical and question the freaking approach heading into 2026, because there is not another portal window. There is no more talent being added to this team. So now, could the staff do more? I mean, clearly, and I think we all agree they could, but even so, I don't want to go into this portal with just Andrew Marsh and my wide receiver, a year older of Jamar Browder, because McCauley's gone. That's another one. McCauley's gone.
Right. He's declaring for the draft.
So, I mean, but again, there's a lot ahead of us, and I'll tell you, boys, spending appears to not be a problem. And I'll say this too, if they pull Andrew Sprag with the other names we just mentioned, that's ridiculous. So, and that offensive line, we're going to have some serious debates this offseason about how that starting 5 is going to look. But I think Michigan's doing, I give it an A to this point. Now that can change. It's fluid, but I think Michigan's doing a pretty good job.
A minus. I'll give an A minus because they got most of the major people back. But losing a key piece on the O-line, I just, there are some that I'd like to see a little bit more, but some of the losses I don't chalk up as necessarily.
some of them are good losses for us because they're just taking roster spots in NIL. Like, it is time to move on some of these kids, bro. Like, can we just be honest? Like, some of these, we won't name them individually, but some of these kids, they weren't going to make it. So we got to keep, you should always churn the bottom of your roster. So it's okay.
Yeah, for sure. We've got some super chats building up here. So let's go to Drufus, who's been a member for 13 months. Thank you so much for that. It's great to be a Michigan Wolverine. Hit the like. Thank you. Looks like you, TJ, you started this.
I wanted to hit on this. So Quincy Porter entered the portal today. Quincy Porter was, somebody many Michigan fans were excited about. And to his point here, Penn State's former wide receiver coach is Marquise Hagan, and he's the assistant wide receiver coach to Micah Simon, right? Is it Simon or Simon? Do we know yet, John? The wide receiver coach for Michigan.
Not sure.
Okay, fair enough.
Simon.
I don't know. We'll learn it though. And I suck with names, so it is what it is at the end of the day. But I think this is a potential option that Michigan could look at. This kid's extremely talented. He would fit. He would be our X, if I remember correctly. But yeah, I mean, I don't know if Michigan feels like you should have him start, or if he would be more of a increasing the talent in the room player. But I will say, I would like to add him to our roster. So
yeah, me
that's
too.
one. Yeah.
Yeah, and I love the connection being made here.
Yeah.
Hagan being on staff, former Penn State wide receivers coach. That it makes sense that he would at least take their call.
Mm-hmm.
And what the question is whether he comes. I mean, we'll see. But I do. Yeah. I mean, he'll have a conversation.
Let's hit on this too, because I didn't mention this. Like, all right, so there's two names that are really intriguing: the Bryce West and the Aaron Scotts, who jumped from Ohio State. And I'll tell you this, because I spoke with somebody who is on the Ohio State of things yesterday, and he was not happy. And it wasn't Garrison, for those asking. It was not Garrison; it was somebody else. And he was telling me that he was hearing that Michigan is contacting both of them. So that's what we were discussing. So I don't know where that stands. If anyone recalls, Aaron Scott had a very I think it was a Bryce. One of them had a very interesting commitment where they put the Michigan in a backpack or whatever. But all right, so Bryce West committed to Wisconsin, so that's done. Okay, so Aaron Scott's one that's interesting. But let's just see. Let's see where Michigan stands. I think adding Zeke Berry limits our options here, though. Like, because there is feel that Michigan is very into our guy Snowden from Utah. I don't know his first name, but I think it's an interesting position that we really need to add some talent to.
Smith Snowden.
Yeah, Smith Snowden. Is it Smith Snowden? No,
yeah, and he's set to visit Michigan.
Okay. Yeah, that's one to watch. That's actually who I think is their priority, the staff's priority. So Edwards, it ain't Edward. Get out of here. He said Edwards. It is not Edwards.
Not Edward, no.
Yeah. Yeah. So yeah,
all right.
We'll find out, man. We'll see where this goes. Like, that's the other thing too, is like, where is Michigan going to go now? Because I mean, I would assume starting tomorrow, we'll start seeing more on the portal side of things.
Yep. Let's see what happens. Captain member for 13 months. Thank you for that. Olesh has been quiet.
I will tell you right now, if we got Andrew Olesh, I would do a break. We would do a live. I would do a breaking news live just to celebrate the hilariousness of that situation. Please, Andrew Olesh, come to Michigan. We would love to have you, bro. Love to have you. Your mom. Let's get mom like a whole spa vacation. She deserves it. She had a hard year.
For sure. Yeah, with the change at Penn State and Frames going off to Virginia Tech, does Olesh want to go to Virginia Tech, or does he want to come under the lights at Michigan in front of 105,000?
Dad does, and that's wow. He rules the roost apparently.
there were some interesting social media signs where there were some follows going on and some likes. So anything's possible in this game. Michigander with the 5 has some recommendations. So we need Texas State left guard Talik Lockett, New Mexico tight end Dorian Thomas.
I agree. Want Dorian Thomas.
Yep. Utah edge JHD and Smith Snowden.
Yeah, John Henry Daly, I think is his
John
name.
Henry Daly and Smith Snowden, and then go and get a ton of D tackles.
Agree. I mean, I'm with all of it. I'm not so sure the offensive line's how it's going to work out because I think Michigan thinks Evan Link is going to be the left guard, but I could be, who knows? It's all speculation. But yeah, I mean, but that's the thing, right? So we probably need to add 10 to 15 portal additions. So we're going to find out here, boys. We're going to see how this coaching staff looks and what they're looking for.
This is an interesting question from Thomas. Should schools just start negotiating multi-year deals from the jump for high school and transfer players to keep them from leaving after one season? I'll let you go when I'll respond very briefly, but just there's no enforcement mechanism is
right.
The issue. Like, you can sign a 2-year deal, but there's no, like, first of all, you still can't say, hey, you've got to play here, and if you renege on it 1 year in, like, there's still limitations to these, like, there's still a little bit of limitation in terms of having people, like, there's a reason we don't have full on NFL level contracts yet. I think that's coming in a few years, and then there will be enforcement mechanisms in place. But right now, I just don't, with the exception of certain players like Bryce, Andrew Marsh, like some players, if that helps seal it, the multi-year, and you add in more incentives, you add in more things, cool. But I don't see the value for like 95% of players when there's just no way to enforce these things.
So, I mean, like we talked about, apparently Marsh is on a 2-year, like that's kind of the word right now. So I think teams are trying to get that commitment, but to John's point, like there's just nothing. Even in Whittingham talked about it today again on Dan Patrick. I recommend people watch the Dan Patrick interview. I'm going to watch Bus with the Boys later. I just was busy, but yeah, I think it's coming. I think teams are trying, but let's just be honest. Like, let's say they do a 2-year contract, right? And let's say they're getting $500,000. Like, I'll give an example right now. No names on the player, but one of Michigan's players was offered $500,000 more than they were getting here. How, like, I don't care how loyal you are. Imagine working at a job.
I would listen if I were, Yeah.
So, I mean, it's just slow. It's, and that's the other thing too, is these teams, like, let's say there is a 2-year contract in place. Is a team going to not contact him? Yeah, right. Like, this is going to sound messed up, but like the college football is like dating, bro. Like, dudes are gonna be in them DMs. You feel me? So like, it's messed up, but it's where we are, and there's no guardrails. So yeah, I mean, it's interesting.
Dedoy asks, I'm late tonight, so maybe you covered it, but I don't get why go to the portal to only come back to force U of M to pay more. Well, to go through it's not just to pay more, but also to be re-recruited by the new staff, to hear their explanation of like how they would fit in Beck's offense and Hill's defense.
Yeah, well, and that's the thing too, is like, well, there's two things. One, you have agents who literally only care about increasing their clients' value. So doing that creates a bidding war, which, agents actually told their players to enter the portal. So this way, one, you can actually get NIL negotiations. Two, to learn about these new positional coaches. They don't know them. So there was a true recruitment had for some of these guys. And the good news is, I mean, here's something to think about we didn't touch on. I always love looking at what things mean that aren't necessarily direct. Well, the fact that these guys are now coming back, well, yeah, it could mean the money's good, but it also means that they approve of these coaches, right? Like these coaches are doing a very good first impression. These coaches they're explaining their vision and it's working. So that's encouraging. So I think, let's monitor the rest of our guys that did enter the portal, but so far, I think Michigan's doing a pretty good job. It would be nice. I'll be very honest. I'm sure many of you feel the same way. Like I would love for this to be done. I don't want any more player retainment. I just want player acquisition. I want to get new guys. I want to build on our roster and see what we have and see where it stands next season. Cause, I mean, I feel like I'm in the same boat as many. I just want to see that. It sucks having like, all right, I'll tell you something right now. Has anyone noticed I've not made one video on any kid reconfirming to Michigan?
Yeah.
I've had people reach out to me. Hey, why aren't you doing a live? Why isn't there a video? Why isn't it? And I'm going to tell you why. Because this is bullshit. Like we're not going to throw a party over the recommitment of players already committed to us. Like it's just, we should be, that should happen. Two, it's hard to get excited about such a thing. Although good news and although the ideal outcome, like I'm not going to make cheap content like that because to be honest with you, like I'm not feeling it, like it does not excite me that I have to go through another recruitment for my QB1 or my RB1 or my wide receiver 1. So at the end of the day, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So we just observe, we go through it, and yes, we are happy. We are happy to hear the good news of these guys coming back. But at the end of the day, that's bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, there's no doubt. I feel like it's kind of where we are in college football right now in some areas, and then you add on what happened with Sharon. You add on the coaching staff. Like y'all know, I've been very critical of the program and the coaching staff at times the last few years. So if I thought that they weren't doing everything that they could, I'd be calling them out tonight.
Right.
But I'm giving some grace to the fact that, I mean, they literally just hired the DB's coach like yesterday, Gennaro Gifford, and like these things are still coming together like on the staff. So it's very tough to be in Kyle Whittingham's position. I think he's moving quickly now. And I think that we'll be hearing some portal moves like the one today. I'm glad we could get him on. Nico Crawford, great interview.
Cool. Yeah, it was a good interview.
Cool to hear about the portal, but we want to hear about some defensive players, some wide receivers, some, a depth quarterback, because we just lost 3 quarterbacks in terms of depth. So you're down to Bryce Underwood and Chase Herbstreit and maybe another, and that's it. So you have to get depth. No choice.
Yeah. I agree.
But that's just kind of where we're at there. So I'm giving it a couple more days. I'm trying to be patient, and we'll see.
Yeah. Let me also hit the last part to force you them to pay more. As effed up as it sounds, yes, agents are playing that game.
Yes, 100%. 100%. Michigander says Alistair Vallejo could start. He's already 310 pounds.
We'll see. I was on the same thing with Andrew Babaloa. It is so hard for a freshman, and I know Mason Graham did it. I know, and I'm not saying it can't happen, but I am not going to count on a true freshman to play in the trenches. I'm just not. Now, if it does, pleasant surprise, love it, but I'm not doing it. I can't do it. It's so hard, man. Go look at Aiden Hutchinson his freshman year, man. Like, because I'll be honest, like being, I remember watching him and I was like, oh, I don't know, man. I don't know, but I was wrong. So, this was also before like I understood the, development and all that. But end of the day, it's tough. It's hard for true freshmen to play the college. Look at how Nate Marshall did this year. Top 50
I get
player.
it. I stand by my Babalola prediction. I believe he would have started if he had.
Oh, I think so too. I think he would have, but it's tough to count on. It doesn't mean he'd be great either. You know, it's like Underwood, as talented as Underwood was, true freshman. It is tough position, quarterback, extremely tough position, man. That's why there's not a lot of true freshmen starting in college.
Yeah. And yes, people are reminding me about Brady Smeagol. I understand Brady Smeagol is going to be coming in here. That's still 3. And I feel like to be comfortable, 4 or 5 is a good.
Absolutely, dude. And not only that, like, so our quarterback room, I know you hit on it, but I really was paying attention to something else respectfully. But so we got Underwood, Herbstreit, and Smeagol, right? And Smeagol, by the way, has an injury, boys. It ain't even like he's going to be in camp.
Oh, Tommy Carr.
Isn't Brittany
Tommy Carr?
That's right. But Smeagol has an ACL injury, right? Am I right? I think that's accurate.
I believe it. You're right.
I missed the end of the Michigan game. Did we win, boys? Tell me.
We did. We won. I actually, put it up on screen. We won barely.
Pissed me off.
74-72 Michigan.
Bro, it doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile.
True.
Winning's winning. Winning's winning.
Earl says Blake Frazier was hurt his freshman year, looked a bit underweight for a tackle. Got to hit the weight. Same with Nate Marshall. And I will say, Doug Elisaya, I'm very pumped about Doug Elisaya being the strength and conditioning coach.
I got something to tell you.
Because you want to talk about bulking up that room, the Polynesian aspect, just like there's so much going on there where it's like I am all of a sudden a lot more confident than I was under Justin Tress. Again, it's so early, but based on what I saw, the tough physical Utah teams in that conference.
Well, check this out. So was told that Whittingham asked the players in Orlando what they thought of their strength and conditioning program and coach and everything.
Oh.
Yep. And the players told him that they felt they could get more out of it. So now you have a new strength and conditioning coach.
Wow.
Which, by the way, John, another dub for this show, who was questioning the strength and conditioning coach for over a year now.
Yeah, feeling
the juice wasn't there and feeling the culture was slipping.
We've been trying to tell y'all this for a year.
Bro, we were trying to tell him about Sherrone Moore, Justin Tress, all of it, bro. We were doing our best, man.
Yeah.
But so that's interesting, you know?
It is. No, that's actually really fascinating. That Kyle Whittingham, even though he's very big on it's going to be the team over you and you need the team more than the team needs you and all that stuff, he still is asking for feedback, which is really good for a leader to do.
Yep.
In whether it's football, whether it's business, whether it's anything, you don't want to feel like you're ever less than, even though in the chain of command, obviously head coach, right, is above the player, but it's like you don't want to feel like it. You know, you want to feel heard.
You should always get input. Well, I mean, obviously certain matters require different levels of I guess interaction, but at the end of the day, you should get, especially when you are, here's something. Let me give a little life lesson here. I made a grave error in my early 20s, walking into a new environment and not getting the pulse of the environment. And I mean professionally, this is not like, I'm not talking about like I was at a party although one time that was a bad time too. But anyways, professionally. And I listen, I was hired. I had a very good position at a young age somewhere. And, I kind of thought I was the shit, bro. And, and I'll be honest with you, lesson learned. I was a dumbass. I should have been in observation mode, should have remained very humble and got and learned the landscape from those already there. That's so key. Any new environment, professionally or just even socially, always understand your landscape before you make any aggressive decisions, right? Or not necessarily even aggressive, but, don't peacock until you understand your environment, so long story short.
I'm glad he's doing that, and I know it's got to be hard because if I ever start a new role or a new project or anything, there's like a listening tour that I do.
Right.
When I'm taking where I literally will meet with every department and understand what's going on and understand what people like and maybe where we can improve. And I did that and just didn't say a word sometimes, just taking it in.
Exactly.
Right.
Yes. Be a student, remain in observation mode. That's my advice.
Yep. Maze and Buddha dropping the 20. Thank you, Maze and Buddha. Thank you for the contribution and the membership, because Maze and Buddha is also a member. From what Nico described, it seems like Michigan has found some flexibility in syncing admissions with the portal.
No. So I asked him, okay, because if you look at Nico's profile, it says he's a junior. And I asked him before the show, I said, wait a minute.
Yeah. He's going for his master's.
Yeah, I was like, are you a junior, bro? Because we all know, anyone who's filed this knows, juniors don't get into Michigan. If you have anything more than 60 credits, you're likely not coming here unless you're willing to lose credits. And but no, he graduated, he has his bachelor's, he's a grad transfer.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, he's graduated, he's coming here. By the way, Michigan has some great master's programs. So I think he's going to be set up really well for his future success. Like this is the smartest move, man, that he could make, because he's coming in, he's going to get experience with a really great special teams coach. And then he's going to be set up with, because Michigan prides itself for its master's programs on not just the learning piece, not just the education piece, but the networking and connections and setting up career fairs and setting up get-togethers with mentor, mentee. And so, I think he's set when it comes to being a master's student here. But yeah, I don't know if that's been confirmed, if there's any change with admissions. I would say that Dusty May seems to be doing fine.
Well, I'll say this. Let's just wait and see. Let's see what the rest of these players look like. Let's see if there's any wiggle here. As I'm curious myself. I know there's probably someone watching. It's not changing. They're not changing. Michigan prides itself on academics. I don't know.
Right.
Like all things evolve. So we will see.
Hockey says, Hockey Kid with the 5, college football is fucking broken. Damon Williams, talking about Damon Williams just entering. So Damon signs a new deal a couple of days ago, and then someone just buys him out. Put in some rules.
You're talking about the Nebraska situation? Is that what we're talking about here?
I think he's talking about Damon Williams from Washington, who's now I believe he is now in the portal.
Yeah, no, this is the Nebraska thing. So wasn't it? Yeah, it was okay, dude. So he essentially, Will Compton exposed this whole situation. So essentially he committed, or he signed with Nebraska. And then he just leaves elsewhere. So now Nebraska's effed because they went through this long period of courting him, right? And tampering. But yeah, it's fucking crazy, bro. Yeah, it's messed up. It's not. Listen, college football is not in the best place. But I will say this: if you are a school with resources, you can weather this. If you are not a school with resources, oh my god, I could not. For example, I was thinking about this. I'm going to be real with you. I would have a very hard time being a fan of a program that is like a tier 2 or a tier 3 program in this college environment, bro. Because what am I rooting for? My school's a feeder school. If I'm a tier 2 or a tier 3, I'm a feeder school. I'm a feeder school to the big dogs. The big dogs are always going to be in play for playoffs. We may get in every now and then, but then if we do have a good year, my coaches are getting poached, my players are getting poached. It is so hard. It's going to be so hard for a college football fan of any school that is not a top 15, 20 school, dude.
I think what you were just talking about was the Kenny Minchie Nebraska situation. I think that's what you're thinking of. Because Demond, I believe, is still at Washington and signed a new deal. And then went in with a no contact tag as of 10 minutes ago.
Okay, my bad.
Crazy.
All right, then that's on me. But that just goes to show you, bro. We're talking about two different quarterback situations that are wild.
Yeah. Yeah, Minchie going off to leaving Notre Dame, going to Nebraska, and going to Kentucky.
Yeah,
which is it's wild stuff. What's happening right now? I do think you're going to see the commissioners of the Big Ten and the SEC, because really, the NCAA. Let's be real. The teeth of that organization's gone down. The Big Ten and SEC commissioners, when they get together and decide something, it's probably going to happen. Like, that's why there's a 2 years ago it was announced that there was a panel that was being created with Sankey and with Petiti and then a few others that they get together every month or every so often to discuss these things. So that's, I think, what is going to force the change, is if they say something, if Fox says something, if ESPN says something, it's like, let's create an NFL like a junior NFL model.
Yeah, and it'll come, but when, I don't know.
Yeah. All right. So that keeps us up to date with super chats there. So again, the portal is not done. So January 2nd it began. It goes all the way through the 16th. So we have another 10 days of this. So we'll have another show next Tuesday to report on it. Are we on? Is the Thursday show going to be rocking and rolling?
Yep, full intent right now to have the Thursday show with myself and Johnny Olden. No reason there won't be a show unless something comes up, but that's where we are, and I don't want to put out of the possibility of an emergency show or a breaking news show. Like, if something major happens, I mean, that's worth hitting on. Justice Haynes might be, I'll be honest with you. I might have to for that. But,
yeah,
we might have to, John, just for a little bit or something, but maybe we'll see. I don't know. It also depends on what we're doing.
Right.
It's possible we can't, but yeah, so Thursday, look for that. And then now, hey boys, we're in the off season. So it is officially Tuesday, 8 p.m. Thursday, 8 p.m. is our official shows going forward for the rest of the off season. During the regular season, we pump it up a little bit more, but yeah, so that's where we are. We'll say, but like, as you guys know, and there will always be, like, if kids commit, we'll try and put out a video, like a quick reaction video. Or if anything is that needs our attention, me and John will try to make some content, but here we go, man. We're now in off-season mode. We are in portal, all in, and we're going to monitor this. And let's see what this roster can be, because I want playoffs. I mean, I know it's his first year, but I'm just going to tell you, I want playoffs. Going to call it right now. I want the playoffs. I'm down to contend for the Big Ten championship. Like, I'm all for it, but I really want the playoffs.
Yeah, we'll give our kind of an initial win-loss predictions soon, once the portal is over. Yep. And once we have a real sense of the roster from top to bottom, then I think we'll give predictions. I think that the playoff is a reasonable ask, and I thought it was a reasonable ask last year. Little did I know, I didn't know a year ago. We knew a few weeks prior to when it dropped, but I didn't know a year ago that Sharon Moore had a side piece and was texting OnlyFans models and was snapping at his assistant. Like, that part I hadn't heard, right? And so, I may have gone a little lower on my win-loss than 10-2. But I think it was reasonable with the talent we had. And
bro, if we knew, I mean, we would be calling for his job now. I mean, then, bro, right. Like, what are you doing, dog?
Yeah.
So
yeah, crazy stuff.
Fuck it, it's done. I'm over it. I'm so over that shit, man. Like, what a Jesus, what a mistake.
So we do want to remind everybody that our show today is brought to you by FanDuel. So you can bet 5, get 300 in bonus bets. Right now, what's interesting is that both of the playoff games are up, and 3.5 favored. And I'll pull that up now again. But the college football playoff odds for the final 2 games is Miami is favored by 3.5. And that game against Ole Miss, the over/under is 51.5. And then Oregon, Indiana favored by 3.5. and over under 47.5. So not sure which one I will say I would take Indiana over Oregon, I think. And I would take I think it's going to be larger than 3.5. I think it's going to be like a 7 to 10 point victory for Indiana. Like I just think they're on such a roll right now that I don't know if Oregon's going to be able to. Oregon's a great team, but Indiana's already beat them once, and
it actually sucked. Indiana's playing Oregon. It should be Indiana. It should be Oregon, Ole Miss, Indiana, Miami. That's how it should fucking be, bro. Like, it should not be Big Ten versus Big Ten. That's so stupid. I want to, because they've already, and not only that, Indiana already played Oregon this year in Autzen. You know, and you know, that was a 10-point game there on the road. I mean, listen, I'm rolling Indiana. I like Kurt Cinetti. I think it's good for college football. Fuck the spread. You know me. Yeah. Respectfully, FanDuel. But yeah, like yeah, money line that shit, Indiana. Let's go.
100%. Outdoor Montana with the 2. We got 9 wins with all that going on. Crazy. I know. It is crazy.
I know. It is crazy.
Like,
we were.
I understand it wasn't like a super difficult schedule, but that's the type of coaching staff where it's like 7 win max, even with that schedule.
Yeah. Right. Dude, how was Ohio State's schedule, by the way? Was that hard? No, and that's why they're out the playoffs. But anyways, yeah, so I mean, look, regardless, I mean, and even the year before, it's just crazy. I mean, at the end of the day, it's crazy. Those 2 years are wild. I'm so glad he beat Ohio State once, though, because that's just insane. But anyways, yeah, no, it's wild, man.
Yeah, for sure. So with that said, we are all wrapped up here. We do want to encourage everybody to check out the call-in show, which will be our next opportunity to chat with you. So it'll be TJ and Johnny taking your calls Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern. And with that said, let's have some final thoughts. Given everything that you just heard from Nico, and then the portal stuff. I mean, what's a thought you have?
Final thoughts is patience right now. I think the fan base, like I have some people, and again, I do appreciate getting tagged and all that stuff, and I do, because sometimes I'm busy and I can't catch everything that's going on. But, man, we got to chill, boys. I mean, like I got some people like, oh, we're Michigan, fire Sean McGee because we're not getting anybody, and it's like, boys, understand where we are though. Like, you want the food on the table when we're prepping to cook. The boys are understanding where the roster stands. They're trying to understand where we stand. They're trying to understand their resources. They're trying to understand the players they have. Like, we must allow the process. Like, we cannot, you don't want to rush that. You don't want to bring in the wrong guys, right? I'm sure it'd make you excited to get the number 6, whatever, right? Number 6 wide receiver or whatever. But what if it's the wrong guy, right? So the guys got to do their due diligence. They got to research. They got to scout. They got to, again, do you think, like, so here's the thing about the transfer portal. That process is getting ramped up in September. Do we think those coaches thought they were going to Michigan in September? Do you think they were looking at the same caliber of player that they're going to be looking at with the resources available? No, they have, this is a whole new thing that they are on the clock. The shot clock is now, right? There's only so many days the portal's open. We must allow patience. Don't overreact. Just go with the flow right now. Now, if there's reason to, like if we lose Cole Sullivan, if Justice Haynes doesn't return, we lose Cole Sullivan. We don't get who's the other one we're trying to get right now? Sprag. Regardless, Sprag's, if we lose, I think we're fine with that one. But regardless, sure, we lose these guys and we don't add wide receiver talent. We don't add defensive line talent. Yeah, then there's reason to get frustrated. But let's not work ourselves up for not. I just stress a little patience here. Let the boys play out. I mean, not only that, again, 48 hours after the coaching staff gets here, we're now retaining players. So let's let the process play out. That's where I'm at. A little patience.
Yeah.
Let's see where we are Thursday, end of the week. It should get better from here.
Yeah, there is time. They're moving quickly now. Now that the staff is in place, they can actually do NIL deals now. Like there's things that have changed in the last few days, and that's why you're starting to see movement. And retention is going to be first, because Whittingham started talking to these players like in Orlando, and had already had a 45-minute conversation with Bryce Underwood before his press conference, his introductory press conference. So like he wanted to keep who he could keep. That was the most talented. But he knows he's got people in Utah. He's got recruits and portal with Daly and some of these players that he has been looking at since Utah, and now has an opportunity to offer a really good package to them to come here.
Mm-hmm.
We have one more super chat, looks like. So T Hambone, why hasn't old man Logan brought Felici Moa and Kevin Obote with him from Utah? He's moving real slow. Does he plan on going after Quincy Porter?
All right, so who's old man Logan? We talking about Whittingham here? Well, first of all, Kelvin Obote has a very expensive NIL deal with Utah, so he's not going anywhere. Celsi Moa, it's weird. I'll be honest, I'm a little shocked we couldn't pull him because his uncle's now here, and the big driver for him to go to Utah was his uncle on staff. So I'm not entirely sure. Does he plan on going after Quincy Porter? I mean, to be determined. I don't know if he's going to go after Quincy Porter. I hope they go after Quincy Porter. I think Quincy Porter would be a nice addition to this wide receiver room. He can play the X. I would love to get Quincy Porter. And you could probably get him if you sell him on playing time. Like, look, I need an X. I need an alpha. Come be that. I think you could get him. But again, his production wasn't great last year. But the talent's there. And he was a true freshman last year. But yeah, we're just, again, wait and see. Now, I'd say now forward, when we start learning of visits, we start learning of their true target list. We're gonna learn what they are looking for, in terms of their player profile. What archetype of player are they into? Every coach has their own preference. So there's just a lot of unknowns still. We're learning as it goes right now. Like Ron Bellamy for the longest time had a fixation on wide receivers under 6 feet who were slow as hell. Don't know why, but he did. So, and then Mike Hart used to love his running backs who were 3 stars who weren't even that fast. So it's it's one of those things we're going to find out. We're going to find out what this coaching staff's into.
Yeah. Good old Ron Bellamy. Well, he's gone now. Sayonara.
Yeah, John, you're just a Ward away from being on cloud 9, bro. You know what I mean? Ron Bellamy's gone. Ward might be gone.
Listen, if Ward gets fired, I'm coming on here with champagne.
Oh, yeah. There you go. Dude, hey.
Believe me, it's happening.
I think we should, dude. I'll have a bottle myself. Let's do it. I'm down.
Forget New Year's. That's what I'm gonna be.
I'm down, dude. I'm down. I'll pop that bitch right here, bro.
Well, with that said, another almost 2-hour show because of you guys in the community bringing it to fruition. Again, apologies about mic issues today. I will work on it. But there we are. But we rolled with it and got it all through. My final thought is that we're just at the beginning of an entire new era for Michigan football.
Mm-hmm.
For the first time in 2 years, we have competent coaching that has proven to be competent at Utah, at BYU, at the Chiefs, by the way. The Chiefs, so that they're pretty good. They, maybe not this year, but they've been a pretty good. They've been a pretty good team in the NFL. So we have coaching staff coming from all those places. Like this is decades upon decades of collective experience, and this is the first time since Harbaugh that I'm like exhaling a little bit because it's like I know that what needs to be in these drills, in these practices, in these things, like I have a lot more confidence now that those things are actually going to be there, and that even Urban Meyer talked about it, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like practices are going to go practices are going to sound the way they're supposed to sound. Right. Maybe not as much music in the practices as before, but more winning. Less music, more winning. I think we could take that trade off.
Yeah, I mean So we're gonna actually have a well functioning football program for the first time in 2 years. So we're excited about that. But I agree with you, John. It's a new era, man. New era. So let's enjoy it. Let's enjoy the ride.
Okay, Mr. Act Like It. Let's all I'm gonna say is about this. He did not hire Harbaugh. That's number one. That was a guy named Jim Hackett. Great guy. I was kind of hoping he would come back as interim for a couple months.
Mm-hmm.
So he didn't hire Harbaugh.
Yep.
He brought Beeline. So Beeline was hired.
Well, he didn't actually hire John Beeline. John Beeline came when Rich Rod was here. John Beeline came from West Virginia, remember? So we had Beeline.
Yeah.
And actually, his relationship with Beeline got bad. He called Ward Manuel to tell him he was. Yeah. He came with Rich Rod. John Beeline came when Rich Rod came, didn't he?
Yeah. So 2007 he was hired. That was pre-Ward. Dusty May was Ward.
He don't like Ward. He's fucking with you.
But with some. Oh, okay. Well, some people are real about this.
I know.
Shit,
well, some people will argue that. Oh, I mean, listen. I have too. Like, I do give Ward flowers for the Dusty May hire, and I know people are like, well, John Beeline did it. Nah, I mean, he was a part of the process, but Ward fucking chest moved the hell out of that. And Ward, and look, the university leads the conference in championships and all sports, and but it's one of those things though where like Sharon Moore getting 9 wins, they got 9 wins in spite of Sharon Moore, not because of Sharon Moore. Just like Michigan's successful in athletics, I would argue it's in spite of Ward, not because of Ward. There's so many things Ward has done because he's so reactive, not proactive. He's so conservative sometimes in his approach, and not necessarily, not ideologically, but he maybe is. I don't fucking know. But the point is his NIL approach was shit. The way he's handled these. We all know. I don't even gotta go down the list. It's absolutely, we need a new AD.
Well, and so he was joking. So, but this is a subject that really, So all I will say is for people who do, because I guarantee you there's viewers right now who agree with even though this wasn't a joke, I bet there are some who are like, John hates on Ward too much.
Bro, well, there are people who, no matter, because they are, go on, John, I don't mean to cut you off, go on.
Well, I just would point everybody who's in that boat to the show I did a year ago when he was extended, because I laid it out for an hour, the pros and the cons. There was a couple of minutes of pros, okay? I tried to Big J journalism that episode, but that's my kind of main argument on Ward is I've got it all sourced out and kind of go point by point. So I encourage everybody to check that out. But go ahead, TJ.
Well, yeah, there are people who, no matter what Michigan does, they're pro Michigan. Whoever it is, they'll support them, whether it be player, coach, administration. No matter, just because they're Michigan, I support them. And whatever, if that's your path, that's your path. But and there are people who just support Ward because there are people who think he is a good AD, and then they'll give you the results and the stats and all that. But end of the day, if you're being truly objective and truly honest, there's a lot of negatives to his tenure, and to everyone's point, the relationships with Harbaugh were terrible. The relationship with John Beeline at the end was terrible. Ward didn't even call John back, when John Beeline was waiting for a phone call, and
wild,
and then you see how Ward handled the Sharon Moore situation, bro. What the, bro, that came above Ward. that getting him fired was above Ward. It was above Ward. I don't see how he survives it, by the way. I just don't. Now, I'll tell you this. If Ward Manuel survives this investigation by this law firm, he is now the Teflon Don. We're going to have to get a John Gotti picture and put Ward's Manuel's face on it because he's on fucking gettable, dude.
Yeah.
Like,
he still apparently has a few Regent supporters.
Well, what's funny is there's some Regents who don't like him, but I've heard there's been in the past, I don't know about now, but in the past there's been some concern about letting him go because, he knows things, So that's, from my understanding,
that's why they're going through all this with the investigation, because
to have
they
a reason,
need legal coverage.
That's right.
So
it's interesting. It's all chess, man.
Earl says, what I love is every position has a coach instead of one coach taking over multiple positions and dedicated coordinators. Yeah, there's a dedicated QB coach now. There's 2 wide receivers, which I like.
Coaches.
Espo and his face, the DL, the guy who's Powell, who's doing edge coaching. I like it. I like the way that they've structured it. No issues. So love that one, Earl. Okay. With that said, we had a couple more contributions and a comment I had to address, but now we're gonna say goodbye for the night. Again, check out FanDuel if you'd like to do some betting, but obviously bet responsibly. 1-800-GAMBLER.
Nope.
And all of that good stuff.
We don't have to say that anymore, but all right. Yeah. Never be.
Oh, we don't have to say that anymore? Oh, okay.
No, that's done. We're good.
I didn't go to, I had a meeting during
I watched
the meeting.
it later.
So
I didn't go to it either.
You watched it? Okay.
I wasn't there for it either, but I caught it after.
All right.
So
fair enough.
We'll just play it out there. There was a meeting yesterday. We missed it. We're busy people. And
yeah,
I caught the replay. We're good. We'll talk later.
So and I checked the email. I made sure everything was loaded in. Good old FanDuel we've been working with the last few months. Because they've been an affiliate partner.
But they're an official sponsor now, not just an affiliate. We are excited.
Official FanDuel sponsorship. Hitting the big time. Big J journalism. Here we go. Voice of college football. Check us out on X. TJ_Ronin at John D'Adamo. And until Thursday night, it's always go blue, fuck Ohio, and we'll see you soon.
Go blue.
College football is even more exciting when you've got some action on the line, and the games are even better when you're cashing in. And the Voice of College Football is the place to be to get the greatest value. Start with my picks. 75% against the money line, 58% against the spread, and I've got a 40-plus year track record. 11-0 in the college football playoff for me last year against the money line, 8-3 against the spread. And I'm just the warm-up act. Steve Merrill of Wager Talk is our ace in the hole, show stopper. 7 years with the Voice of College Football, over 30 years in the industry. Steve gives us analysis on all the big games, but you can't miss Steve's weekly under-the-radar pick. 28-12 against the spread the last 3 years. You also get picks from some of our top analysts here at the Voice of College Football, including Corey Bratta, Matt Zemek, and Steve Dace. Check out those numbers. Become a YouTube or Patreon member for just $99 per month. Go to the main channel on YouTube, click join, and then select the betting tier. Do the same thing on Patreon. Make 2025 a winner now.